Hello, and welcome to HOL 2281, getting started with cross-cloud mobility. And this is really going to be focused on the HCX product line. I'm Alex Fanous. I'm a staff solutions architect. I've been working with the hands-on labs now for about 5 years and working with the HCX about 4 years. Quick agenda. We're going to go through a quick introduction, a couple of slides on HCX, and then I'll explain how the lab's set up on 2 sites. Then we'll jump into the lab, talk a little bit about how to navigate the lab, and then walk through a couple of modules together. So like I said, I'm Alex Fanous. I've been with VMware just over 6.5 years, and I've been working with the hands-on labs for about 5 of those years, and about, it should actually be 4 years with this HCX lab. I had the opportunity to work with the HCX lab, really liked the product, and since then I've actually worked with some of our bigger customers to use HCX to do their migrations. One of our customers has done about 20,000 VM migrations over the course of the last 2 years between not only their own data centers, but also between their data centers and VMware Cloud and AWS and their data centers and VMware Cloud on Dell. So I really like this product line, and I hope you guys enjoy this lab. So here's a couple of use cases that really drive the need for HCX. And it's really about migrating VMs easily. And this is between, whether you're trying to get out of a data center or replatform to new hardware or a new site, or just balancing workloads across different sites. It really gives you that capability of using what you already know, like the vCenter, vMotion, but allowing you to do it across different vCenters. So one of the big things that HCX provides is ease of use, which then directly ties into cost savings. So again, my use case, I've had a customer use 20,000 VM migrations with HCX, and they do that with really 2 people that really know HCX to handle it and do all the migrations for them. So it's a really powerful tool once you start getting used to it. So a couple of the key features of HCX, it allows you to connect multiple sites together. It allows you to do, one of the key things I really like is the network extension. Takes a layer 2 IP address range, extends it from one site to another site. So you can migrate a VM over across different sites or regions or however you want to describe it, but keep the same IP address. And this ends up being a very powerful tool, allowing you to move VMs without being tied to those IP address spaces. We do a WAM optimization as well that lets you get just the most throughput through whatever your WAN is. And then a couple of different formats of migration. So live vMotion, which is similar to what you know from doing a vMotion from one host to the other, but you're doing it across sites. Or bulk migration, where you can group 100 of them and then migrate them over. It'll do 8 at a time. And then when it's done, it'll just constantly go down the list until it's done. And then we can also do cloud-to-cloud migrations. 2 a little bit more detailed slides. OS assisted migration. This is one that I think is pretty neat, where we can take an KVM VM or a Hyper-V VM, install a little tiny module on it, and then migrate it over to a vSphere VM. And I'll show you this in a little bit. I think it's really nice when you say you acquire a different company and you need to absorb their VMs. You don't really need to know a lot about Hyper-V or KVM. You can just install this tool, migrate them in, and then now they fall under the vSphere portfolio. And mobility groups. Mobility groups allow you to use our tool, vRealize Network Insight, and see what VMs are talking to each other, and then it'll create groups based off of that. And this allows you to say, okay, I need to move a VM, but let's make sure I'm moving all the VMs it needs to talk to at the same time. So that way we don't realize it's a performance issue when we migrate it because, it's making a call back to another database or something like that on-prem. So a little bit about how the lab's constructed. In this scenario, we're trying to create 2 sites, a site A and a site B. Site A resembles an older vSphere install. So we're using vCenter 6.7 and an ESXi host at 6.7. You'll notice in the lab, we're only using one host. This is just to conserve resources in the labs. There's no issues with using multiple hosts or bigger clusters, but just to conserve resources, we use one host. Anything in the IP address range that's 192.168 and starts with a 1, so like 110, 120, 130, that's going to be on the A side. On the secondary side, the B side, this is going to be vCenter 7.0 and ESXi host 7.0. Again, one host, just for conserving resources. And this was the latest build when we built the lab a little while ago. These are the modules that we have available to you. We can do the establishing a state of hybridity. This is really talking through HCX at a high level, and then doing the site pairings, the mesh setups, all that kind of initial connections. Module 2 is going to be the cloud migrations. This is where we're going to do a live vMotion, bulk vMotion, and see those in action. And then we have the OSAM, OS assisted migration. We're going to migrate from a Hyper-V to a vSphere. And then MON, mobility optimized networking. This is where we can migrate a VM from site A to site B. And when it needs to go to the internet, we can actually have it go out site B instead of going over to site A. For the purposes of this lab, though, we're going to focus on a couple of key modules and parts of those modules. So first, we're going to jump in and do a vMotion. Then we're going to go to the site pairings. We'll do a site pairing, mesh setup, and a network extension. And then we'll check on the vMotion, should be done by then. And then we'll jump into Hyper-V to vSphere migration. Okay, so let's now switch over. Here we can see the console. I'm already logged in, but just to show you how to log in and get in, if you go to labs.hol.vmware.com, you'll get to this page, click on all labs, and then here you can search for one of the labs. So you can do 2281. You could also do HCX and just search for that. This will bring up the lab. We'll click enroll. So going back to this first tab, this is up and running. Key thing here is this green area at the bottom that says it's ready. And then we can resize this if we want to. And we can also resize the manual on the left side. The manual on the left side, you use these arrows to go back and forth. And I'll just walk you through a little bit about what to expect from the HCX lab. Walk through. And what I'm also going to do here is I'm going to do table of contents. And let's jump to a cloud migration. So I'm going to expand this. I'm going to jump down to the zero downtime migration. And then I can X out of this and go back here. So this is, we'll do a migration from region A to region B. And those go through the options, how to proceed with this lab. We're going to do it live. We're going to log in. So you just walk through here and it's going to walk through everything for you. So I'm just going to walk you through here. Let's open up Chrome and we're going to log into the two vCenters. If you click in the white space, they'll give you the option to log in. When this comes up here, we can see over here, we have a couple of VMs. This is an app-01A, db-01OA, and web-01OA. These are part of a 3-tier app. Nothing fancy, but it just shows us the connectivity going through 3 VMs and communicating in order to show some data. All the ones starting with HOL, these are the HCX appliances that are deployed. And this is site A. Let's go to site B. Again, I'm going to click into the white space. I'm going to click log on. Let's give this a second. When this comes up, you'll see the same HCX appliances or similar HCX appliances, I should say, deployed over here. We have NSXT deployed at this site. It's needed at the destination site, but it's not required at the source site. And we can see no web VM here. So let's go back to the first site. This web one, click on here. I can see the IP address 192.168.120.30. Just had it. I'm going to click on here. I'm going to click on customer database. This is going to that VM and it's bringing up database. And here we can just do a quick search. You see that it's coming up with results. We'll go back. So then we're going to go to site A. Here, walking through here, I'm going to click on the menu and then do HCX. And as I'm walking through this, you can see here's the dashboard, some key information. Bottom left over here is going to be site pairings. To save some space here, I'm going to do these drop down arrows here. And I also like doing the 3 dots up here. I like going down to 90% just to give me a little bit more space. So I'm looking at this on the left side. I could go to anywhere over here I want to poke around it, if you're doing it live, I'm going to do network extension. And this is going to show me the network extension that's being spread out from site A to site B. Here you can see it's extended, green check mark, and I also have mobility optimized networking. Now it wants me to go to migration on the left side. This will show, this will refresh in a second, and it'll show me all the previous migrations. While this is going, I'm going to open up command prompt. I'm going to start a ping to that VM. You can see the IP address here, 192.168.120.30. Okay, this is up now. I'm going to click on migrate. Again, if you want to keep on walking along here, it'll tell you all the steps to do. This is going to load the connections. You can have multiple connections, multiple pairings going on here. And we're going to choose the one at the bottom, which is going to be the vCenter one, vCenter. The top one's the non-vSphere inventory, which is that OSAM, OS Assistant Migration. This is now going out live, and it's checking the inventory. Everything that's done here, it'll take a couple of seconds because it's going out live, checking it, and coming back. This is nice because it makes sure everything's working and everything's in the current state. It's not like you can click next and then start a migration and be like, oh, sorry, I can't communicate to the other site. It's checking that for you, making sure everything's working. So it's a nice feature. I'm going to click add. I'm going to give this a name up here. And then I have to just tell it a couple of things about where it's going to be placed. So I can go through these drop-down menus. I'm going to choose a host, destination folder. Here's storage, and this is only going to come out for us with one data store. But you can see there, if you had multiple data storage, you can pick and choose which one you want to go to. So the format of the VMDK, here, it's going to give us options. I liked going with thin provisioning. You know, that's the recommendation these days. That's the easiest way to do it, the best way to do it. So I'm going to click thin, make sure it gets there. It might save a little bit of space when we're doing these migrations. And you have migration options here that you can choose. So you can do a live vMotion, which is the one we're going to do. It's going to look like, you know, normal vMotion that you know of, except instead of going from one host to the other one, we're going to go from one site to another site, that they're not connected. There's no shared single sign-on or anything like that. We could also do a bulk migration. This is where we have like up to 100 VMs. You put them into a group, you migrate them all over, and it'll just cycle through them. It'll do, I think it's 8 at a time. And when it's done with one, just automatically starts the next one and keeps on going through. And then we have a replicated assisted vMotion. So if you think about this, is we'll tell it what we want to move. It'll then start replicating the data in the back end, and then you could trigger a failover. And this is nice for if you have like a VM with a heavy storage. So we're going to click vMotion. For here, for the optional switchover, I can say a start and end time on the window. So I can say, you know, we can start at midnight and we have until 7 a.m. to do this migration. If it's not done by 7 a.m., then it'll cancel it. But this gives you a nice way of like setting it to go, or maybe scheduling it the night before, and then just monitoring it as time goes on. Where I'm going to cancel this because we're going to go live. So down here, I'm going to click the arrow to expand the details on Web 1. And I need to make sure that there's a network here. So there is. This is going to be the destination network. And you can see here, it starts with L2E. So that is for layer 2 extension. I'm going to click validate. This is going to go out live, check everything, make sure everything's working okay. One of the nice things to know here is it'll check everything live, but in the lab environment, you might get warnings. You can safely ignore those. That's again, just because we're tight on resources. So we go click go. This is going to start migrating. And then this is going to go through, it's going to refresh, it's going to show up in the screen, and then we can kind of look at it and see what kind of status it is. So while this is going, we're going to give it a couple minutes. We're going to switch and we're going to look at setting up that mesh setup. So I'm going to go to table of contents. I'm going to go over to site 1. We're going to do HCX site pairing. Site pairing options. And then I'm going to open this up. This will open up in a new tab, and then we'll walk through this. So this one will take about 5 or 6 minutes if you do it by yourself, like after you actually do all the work. But this one we're going to do an ISIM, which is integrated, interactive simulation. That's going to let us walk through it, and we can remove some of that dead time. So here we're going on the left side, we're going to click site pairing. This is going to show up, it's going to be blank, and it's going to let us set up that first site. So we're going to click on connect the remote site. Then we're going to put in the URL for that secondary site and the cloud site. We're going to click in here and use the right credentials that we want. And then for here, the password automatically filled. We're going to click connect. And then now we can see these two are set up. I'm going to go over to interconnect. Interconnect says now we have 2 sites that can communicate. Interconnect, the mesh is going to then say these are what they can communicate, this is what they can do. So I'm going to click on create service mesh and see my 2 sites. This one is pretty straightforward because we only have one, but in other ones you could have multiple. Now I'm going to choose my compute profiles. The compute profiles tell you like what resources they're allowed to use, what services are enabled, like license keys, things like that. So we're going to click close and continue. So this tells you the services that are going to be enabled for these 2 pairings for what matches up from the 2 sides. Then we're going to click continue. This shows you the network profiles that are going to be used for uplinks. And if you want to, you can override them, but we're not going to. So we're going to click continue. And this is if you want to do like network extension, you can scale out, add more appliances, things like that. But for now, we're going to click continue. And then these are some advanced features. For instance, we can do path resiliency that allow you to have 2 paths, 2 tunnels open up. So that way, if something happens with one, the other one will keep on working. Okay, review the topology, what it looks like. It'll show you the connections, and at the top right of each picture, those are the services that are enabled. Click continue. Now we just have to give it a name. And let's click finish. Now this is going to take a second, it's going to refresh. While this is going, you click tasks, and this will show you everything as it's building out. So this ends up being pretty nice. When you're doing this deployment, it can take a little while, but you have the opportunity to really see what's going on and understand where it is and what's happening. So we're going to keep on expanding these if we want, and then we're just going to scroll down a second. Yeah. And you can see like allocating resources. Down here is we're deploying the appliances. And you can see the names that are similar. So we're going to scroll up. We're going to collapse this. Then we're going to go to network extension. So now we have the service mesh in place. We go to network extension. This will allow us to extend that IP address space from site A to site B. Then we're going to click network, extend network. Now it shows me my 2 connections, but we can only use the bottom one for vSphere. So we'll click that. And then it gives us a list of all the networks that are available to be extended. So for instance, it has to be a VLAN associated with it, and it can't have any of the management VMs on it. So we have this VM here. We're going to check it off. Then we're going to enter in the default gateway and the subnet mask. And then we're going to click extend. Now over here, we can extend this out. We can see network extension is complete. We can show the IP address, subnet mask that we're working with. This looks good. So now we've walked through a site pairing, mesh setup, and a network extension. Let's go back. Now we can see we have a base 100% base sync, so it's still cutting over. I'm going to click the refresh button here. And then one of the things we can do here is we're going to do this drop-down menu on the left side of that group name. We can see there's one VM, it's switching over here. I'm going to scroll to the right. And then we have a couple icons here. We can delete the group, edit the group. I'm going to click on this one, which is group info. This one is really nice where it shows you the group and where everything is. So we can see it's one base sync is 100%, the switch over is at 50%. and it's completing, and then in progress. So the base sync's complete and the switchover is in progress. So for one VM, this doesn't really help too much, but for, if you're doing a bulk of 100 VMs, this would be really nice. Okay, we have 100 VMs, 50 are already complete, 8 are syncing. It kind of tells you that. Here we can see the migration is complete. So now I'm going to go over to my command prompt, my ping. I'm going to stop this. And you can see here during that migration, we dropped 1 ping. So I think that's pretty good. You're going from one site to the other site, different environments, switching everything over. We lost 1 ping. Seems pretty good. So let's go back to this vCenter. We're going to click on the menu and go to hosts and clusters. Here you can see the web 018 VM is no longer in site A. Let's go to site B. We can now see that web VM is here. And you can see here the same IP, 192.168.120.30. So let's go up to my customer database here. And let's do that search again. So the search comes back. If I want to do a different search, comes back, great. So you can see that even though we migrated from site A to site B, our connectivity is still there. If you were in the middle of doing something during that cutover, which is very quick, it might have been a little bit of something, but most things will automatically retry and recover from that. So now we've walked through the site mesh setup. We've done a live vMotion. The next one I want to show you is that OS assisted migration. So on the top right here, I'm going to click on table of contents. I'm going to go down to module 3. I'm going to go into this interactive simulation. And again, I'm going to click on this one. It's going to open up in a new window. The OS assisted migration for this, because everything's nested, it takes a little bit of long time. So we've definitely trimmed down some time to make this a little bit faster to walk through. But here I'm in my Hyper-V manager. I'm highlighting this Hyper-V-core-A VM. I'm going to click connect. This is opening up this window. I'm going to log in. So it's an Ubuntu VM. Logging in, I'm going to do an IF config. This will show me the IP address. You can see down here 192.168.151.61. So let's open up PuTTY. Let's put that IP address in there. We're going to accept the certificate. Let's log in. And once we're logged in, let's do that same IF config. We can see it's the same IP address up here. That's good. So now we're going to close out of this console. And on the bottom left, we're going to go back to the web client. We're going to go to site A. You can see there's nothing here, just to make sure there's nothing here that we're hiding. We're going to go to the secondary site, site B, nothing here either. We're going to click on the menu. We're going to go to HCX. Just a quick review, in case you were, if somebody was doing this out of order or anything, we can see our sites pairings. We're going to click on site pairings on the left. We can see the 2 sites that are connected. We're going to go to interconnect. Again, this will verify the mesh is set up correctly. We have the services enabled. We're going to go left on the network extension. Expand this. We can see the IP address range we're using, the network extension here. And then let's go to migration. You can see some previous migrations down here. We're going to click migrate at the top. This time, we're going to choose the non-vSphere inventory at the top of this. When this comes up, we're going to give it a name. And then we're going to check off this Hyper-V VM, and then we're going to click add. Same thing that we did earlier. We're going to walk through where we want this VM to be placed. A lot of these, we don't have a lot of options because it's just a small demo environment. And then I'm going to choose thin format for this, thin provisioned. I'm going to do OS assisted migration. I'm going to check off this Hyper-V VM. We're going to expand it. And down here, you notice that there's no destination network. So we want to click on this. We're going to do a quick search for L2E for layer 2 extension. And we're going to check off the one that we want and click select. Now we're going to click validate. This is going to go out, validate, make sure everything's good. It came back successful, so we're going to click go. And this window doesn't disappear, you can click close. And then this is where we're going to see it would take a normally a long time, but we've sped that up. We're going to collapse these other ones, just get them out of the way, make it cleaner. Down here, we can expand this group and we can see that it's migrating. It's going super fast. You can see the start and end time here. Now let's go back to Hyper-V Manager. We can see this VM is powered off, so it shut it off. We're going to go back to the vSphere web. We're going to go over to site A. We can see the VM is here. We can see the same IP address, 192.168.151.61. And then let's go to PuTTY. We can put that address in here. And we're going to log in. And let's do an ifconfig again to just verify. And we can see the same IP address up here. So we're able to take a Hyper-V VM that's running on Hyper-V. We're able to migrate it over. It is now a vSphere VM running on vSphere, but it kept all the same settings in that for us during the migration. So thank you for your time. That was a quick walkthrough of the HOL Lab 2281, which is HCX, cross-cloud mobility. Hope you liked it. And if you have any questions, please reach out to your local account team or use one of the forums to get in touch with somebody. Thank you. Have a good day.